One. Welcome back to Uncle Bob Crypto Podcast 002, and I'm with Paddy Stache. Welcome, Paddy.
How you doing? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. I've got to be honest with you. You are. I would consider you one of the celebs of crypto. You're always popping up in my Telegram. You're a hard-working dude.
I enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you do. You're passionate about it, and you know, I wish I had half of the gusto that you have. You got proper gusto. That's the word.
Yeah, I guess I get overly excited about things sometimes. People say I'm very passionate and emotional, so I guess it kind of reflects when I make my videos and write my posts.
And how are you finding it at the moment? What's the kind of what's your feeling around crypto at the moment? Your general feeling?
Well,
you're the eternal bull.
I kind of am. I guess I kind of look at things on a larger scale, where a lot of people get upset with sometimes some of the projects that I talk about, because at the current time they're really not doing anything. Mainly, I'm looking at the future development of what I predict will happen with the project, not necessarily what's going on with it right away. So there's a lot of people who are traders who are looking to get in and out. I'm more of a trader, but investor as well. So there's a few projects that I've been holding since 2017 that I've continued to accumulate. And those are projects that I have done the research on, I'm a strong believer in, and I really do think that once this market starts to pick up, once market sentiment starts coming back, those are going to be the ones that are going to be successful. So I hope it plays out. So we'll kind of see how it goes. But overall, my sentiment toward the market right now, you say I'm kind of like always bullish, but I am really bullish right now. I posted a chart last week. It's the Ethereum chart. The Ethereum chart is the one that I follow the most, because it tends to be the good indicator of what altcoins will do. So just last week, it broke out of like a 10-month channel that it was stuck in. So for 2 years, it was going down, 1 year sideways, and then just last week, it kind of broke out of that channel on the uptrend. So this, to me, could be the beginning of what I think is the altcoin bull market. Now, I don't anticipate this to be like the end of 2017, early 2018. I think it'll be the first upward movement of altcoins. And then, of course, I believe Bitcoin will go higher, so it'll kind of be an inverse trading. But I think that this is kind of the beginning of the bull market for altcoins, and it's been, almost 3 years. So I think other people are ready to get the ball rolling,
When you say it's an altcoin bull market, tell me what, in your mind, what that looks like. How does it play out?
So what I kind of mean by that is, like I say, for 2 years, the market was just dropping. Now, for the last 10 months, according to that chart that I posted, it was kind of doing like a sideways consolidation. So if you look at market cycles, you kind of see how it goes in these waves like this. So there's small market cycles within larger market cycles, and I'm looking at the grand scheme of things. So I think that the beginning of what the large market cycle is starting to happen now. And I think that this is just the beginning. This is when I think money is going to start coming back into the market again. I have a full-time job still, even though I'm always actively posting things crypto related. And I actually have people in my office. They know I'm like the guy that's big into crypto. So if there's ever a question, people come to me. And I've actually had a few people recently contacting me. This is, of course, before the coronavirus thing. I've been home quarantined for a couple of weeks now. But I've had people in my office asking me, hey, I want to start looking into crypto. What do I do? How do I go about it? And to me, that is the most important thing, because once that money starts coming back into the market, then all of a sudden things start going higher. People start getting excited. Then more money comes in. Then things go higher. Then people start telling their friends. And that's kind of what happened in the 2017 bull market, 2016 into 2017, and then to the beginning of 2018. So I think it's going to be a slow move up. I don't think anything crazy in 2020 is going to happen. However, 2021, 2022, that's when I think things are really going to start picking up. But I really think that this is the beginning, based off of that Ethereum chart, as well as the altcoin dominance chart. If you look at the Bitcoin dominance, it's in the process of losing a major support for the first time in over a year. So I think that's what's going to lead to more activity. And even though Bitcoin dominance is dropping, I anticipate the price of Bitcoin to go higher as well. Maybe a short-term dip coming up, but overall, I mean, I'm bullish. You know, the halving next month, typically the price following the halving starts moving higher. I think we still have a few months before Bitcoin does anything, but I'm excited because I feel like things are starting to get going again.
So when you're looking at the Ethereum chart, you're looking at that as the index for altcoins in a sense that you're basing that premise that the altcoin rally, the altcoins are going to start moving up because Ethereum is the kind of leader of that pack.
Pretty much. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I know that Ethereum is about 1/10, maybe 1/12 the market cap of Bitcoin. So obviously, if Bitcoin moves up 1%, Ethereum has to move up at least 10% to have that same effect on the market. So I use Ethereum as a gauge. I like to use XRP as a gauge. I like to use Litecoin. So I kind of lump them all together, and they make up so much of the altcoin market that when they begin moving higher, it reflects on the entire market itself. I mean, if you've got a coin that's ranked 300 on CoinMarketCap and it moves up 100%, it's not going to make much difference because it doesn't carry enough of the market weight, I like to call it. Whereas Ethereum, if that moves up 10%, that lifts the entire market up. So I focus mainly on Ethereum. XRP is another one. So when those are all moving up in unison, I'm feeling pretty good that the market's going to move up as a whole.
Yeah, and I know that you are looking at projects like Telcoin. Telcoin's a big one for you, and HVN. Yeah. Is it Haven? Haven's another one.
Hive Terminal.
Hive Terminal. Yeah. Sorry, I got that completely wrong.
It's all right.
And you're kind of basing that whole altcoin season as like projects. If Bitcoin goes up 10%, Ethereum will go up 100%, and these other ones can go up 10x. I'll probably explain that really badly, yeah. But they've been in this accumulation zone too.
Yes,
they're going to jump.
I see the main issue with the small caps right now is that there's not enough liquidity. So nobody wants to invest in something if they can't immediately sell out. So, you know, if you're an investor and you've got millions and millions of dollars and you want to put money into an asset, you want to be able to put money into that asset. But if something changes or something goes wrong, you want to be able to get out just like that. And you can't do that with a lot of these small caps. So what I keep saying to people over and over is, if you find a project that you really like and you're confident in it, take your time to accumulate it slowly. Because if you're going to put, you know, say you do a $10,000 market buy, it could spike the price up 500%. And that doesn't really do anything for you. Yeah, you accumulate your position, but you also push the price up 500%. So instead of doing it like that, what I would always say is buy a little bit at a time, buy a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. And by doing that, you're not really pushing the price up, but you're still scaling into that position. So over the period of time, if other people have that same idea, eventually the demand is going to supersede the supply, and the price will start creeping higher. So I've used this example many times. I talk about PIVX, PIVX. It was a real popular masternode coin, still is. It's one of the top ones. I mean, Dash is basically the big dog when it comes to masternode coins. But PIVX was a project that in 2016 was trading $1,000 or $2,000 a day. It was trading at, I believe, 0.004. So that's just under a half of a penny. And at that time, $1,000 or $2,000 a day in volume. So nobody's really gonna say, oh, I'm gonna be trading PIVX today or whatever, because there's not enough volume. So had you scaled into that project and put, say, $10,000 in it, a half of a penny, then all of a sudden, 6 months later, because of the market conditions improving, the money flow in the market started improving. So projects like PIVX started getting more volume. So, you know, all of a sudden it's trading $20,000, $40,000, $50,000 a day. So people start thinking to themselves, wow, this was only trading $1,000 or $2,000 a day. Now it's trading $50,000 a day. Maybe I could start taking it a little more serious and putting more money into it. Then all of a sudden it was trading a couple million a day. Then as the market really started cranking, there was one point where PIVX was trading tens of millions of dollars a day. So at the time when you scaled in and you put your 10 grand in when it was trading 1,000 or 2,000 a day, if you wanted to sell, you're either going to tank the price or it's just going to be real difficult. You got to do it all over a long period of time. However, if you saw the project as, this project that could develop into something, which is what I see with a lot of the small caps that I talk about, now there's not a lot of volume, but as the market conditions improve, as people start seeing what I see in these different projects, they start throwing a couple bucks at it, then all of a sudden it starts creeping higher, and that gets other people's attention. More money comes in. And like I say, PIVX, I don't remember exactly what it hit, but I think it was around $12. So imagine buying something at a fraction of a penny and selling it at $12. But the greatest part was that 10 grand that you put in, what is worth a couple $1 million. But if you wanted to liquidate a couple $1 million, you could have done it like that because it was trading 50 million a day.
Oh man, that makes complete sense. I mean, obviously you've got a blueprint there. That PIVX is one. Give me a couple of other examples in your career that you kind of won big by getting in early and at the right market conditions.
Okay, so with crypto, I got into crypto around mid 2017. At the time, I really wasn't too up to,
You used to do penny stocks before, is that right?
I did, yes.
You did quite well as well in that, didn't you?
I've had tremendous success and I've had tremendous failures. So it's a very emotional feeling, making money, losing money, and I always talk about, as a trader, you can't have any emotion. So over the years and years that I've been trading and investing, I've kind of, been through every experience before, so I don't let things bother me or affect me like they used to. So the way that I got into trading was back in the mid 90s. There was a stock. It was called Vaso Medical. The symbol was VASO, and it was about $1. An uncle of mine was telling me that they were doing this 3-year study at a hospital near my house where I grew up in New York, and the results were about to come out. And a lot of people were talking very positive about this company, that they anticipated the results to be positive. So I gave my dad $1,000. It was at about $1, $1.25. We'll say $1 for example's sake. But I forget what it was. Maybe 6 months later, I was working as a busboy, a barback. This is at a restaurant, and they had TVs all over the place. And on the TV, they had the one MSNBC ticker where it would have the Dow Jones and then the NASDAQ prices. So I'm looking at it and I'm going, oh, Vaso, it's at $1. Vaso, oh, $1.25. Oh, Vaso, $2. Oh, Vaso, $2.50, $3, $4, $5, $6. So what happened was the results to that study came out, and after hours, the price just started skyrocketing. So about a week later, it hit about $14 or $15. My dad was the one that, was in the possession. He had the broker. So we ended up selling at $12, and I turned $1,000 into $12,000. That's how I bought my first car. I think it was my sophomore or junior year of high school.
Wow.
So that kind of was like, wow.
I've arrived.
I've arrived, yes. And it's, a rare scenario to have a stock that goes up, 1,400% like that. But it does happen. And like I say, it was $1 stock that went to 14. So then from that point forward, I just started researching the stock market, and technical analysis became my thing. I've always enjoyed math, arithmetic, I should say. Calculus. Like I could care less about calculus in school, but arithmetic. And so I started looking at charts, and I started figuring out trends and patterns. And so my focus became mostly penny stocks. Stocks, couple dollars, but I would trade stocks that were trading at a penny as well. So all through college, I pretty much paid my way through college using the trading that I learned at the end of my high school career. And during the summers, I would work during the day and I would trade at night. And I made a lot more money trading than I did when I worked during the day. So when I went to college, I was one of the few guys that had money and also had the ability to trade and make money while I was still in college, where everyone else, they would have to either go home and work their job. I was just on my computer. And so it was great for me, because while I was in college, pissing all my money away on beer and stuff, I could just get it right back when I was trading. So it was fun.
I won't ask you what the stuff was.
Whatever.
Okay, anyway.
I just drank. Yeah, I mean, a little bit.
Yeah, so 2017, you get into crypto. You must have looked at it, given your kind of story there. You must have looked at it and thought, this is penny stocks on steroids. Let's go, champ.
Yes. That's exactly what it was. But I'm so upset at myself because of what happened in 2013. So I'm sure you are well aware of the Silk Road and
yeah, of course. Yeah.
So I used to be on a mixed martial arts forum. I've always been big into mixed martial arts, boxing. So I would get on the forums and, communicate with friends of mine. And somehow on one of these forums, this Silk Road came up. And I remember kind of looking into it. And I remember hearing the word Bitcoin. And of course, I knew nothing about Bitcoin. And it was something that was just, out of sight, out of mind. So I never really focused on it. But I remember reading about the Silk Road and finding how I'm like, wow, this is so crazy. There's like a black market on the internet. But I just never took the time to look into what Bitcoin was and, how it could be effective. So, fast forward a few years, 2017, we started hearing about Bitcoin a lot in the news, and basically nobody knew what it was at that time, at least nobody that I knew. I didn't really know any computer programmers or people involved with coding or anything like that. So it was just a word that I heard. People talked about it. Nobody knew what it was. And then I just kind of started looking into it, and I'm going, wow, man, like this is really interesting. So I could send money from my house to somebody on the other side of the world in almost no time, and I don't have to worry about all those restrictions of my money getting fees taken out and banks, doing their thing and taking money from you. And it was so easy. And so that's what kind of interested me. And then I realized that, like you say, it's almost like a big penny stock. So the charts, this is the crazy thing. The charts tend to follow almost an emotional pattern, if that makes any sense. Whereas, the US stock market, technical analysis obviously could be applied to anything, but the stock market it's not as predictable as, I want to say, the crypto market. So, perfect example is the guy Plan B. He's got the stock to flow model, which fascinates me, but it really has such a smooth flow to it, and it's been doing that same smooth flow for almost 10 years. So who's not to say it's going to continue? I mean, obviously anything could happen, but it's kind of cool to see that in crypto, things have more of a flow to it, and they're more similar to how small cap stocks would trade than rather large cap stocks. So as I started doing my research, I started thinking to myself, man, this stuff is cool. So I pretty much had a large portion of my savings into crypto, and I did real well. But like so many other people, I didn't know the crypto market well enough to know that when it makes an exponential bull run like it did, it's usually followed by a major crash. So
who was to know that? Who was to? I mean, look, if you're a noob, I was a noob, and I was the same. At one point, I had a small fortune on the boil, but I just had no idea of market cycles. I had no idea of. I got wrapped up and completely pulled into the whole bullish sentiment. John McAfee saying it's going to 1 million. I honestly thought, yeah, this is it. The world is changing as we know it right now. Get on board now, or get on board now. I mean, I became an evangelist to my family, to my friends.
Yep.
All at the bloody wrong time of the market as well, in December.
Well, so one thing to think about now, the current market conditions are pretty much the opposite of what
almost like 2016.
Yeah. So what I knew was the tipping point of the market, but again, I thought it would be a short-term tipping point where there'd be a pullback, consolidation, and then it would keep moving higher. Had I known what I know now, obviously it would have been a different story. But
what would have you done differently?
I would have probably liquidated my positions and everything. And, you know, futures trading came out right around the time when the Bitcoin market peaked. So I would have been shorting the market. But again, it was just something that I wasn't familiar enough with. I didn't know how to use BitMEX. I wasn't, you know, trading a whole lot. And I do
you know what, Paddy? I was in London at the time. I live in London, and as you well know, like London and New York are two of the biggest financial centers in the world. And I remember making like a few thousand in like a space of 15 minutes on a call I'd been given on NEM.
Okay. Yeah.
They were having some partnership. I can't remember who it was with. It's probably with like somebody, a something company.
It didn't matter.
It didn't fucking matter.
Fred, who owns the plumbing store up the street. We got a partnership with Fred, the plumber. And then everybody gets excited and everything shoots up. So no matter what people said or did, it's going higher.
That's it. It went up like 180% or something in like in seconds. And I remember drinking in this bar in London and feeling really proud of myself. Like, God, I'm really good at this. And I got talking to a stockbroker. And I asked him, have you heard about Bitcoin? And I was sitting there kind of proud, like I was sort of part of the future, and he wasn't. He says, no, I haven't heard of it. We have heard a little bit about it, but we're not in it yet. And I said, well, you need to get into it now. And he said, listen, I've got something to tell you. Wait until we are able to short it. You're fucked.
Well, he was right, because right after that happened.
I was given the warning and I didn't even listen. But I didn't, to be honest, at that point, I didn't even know what shorting was. That was the level of my expertise.
Yeah, well, whatever. I mean, so many other people were in the same situation as you. I had a background as a trader, so I understood kind of, you know, a lot of the terminology, things like that. But again, it was another world to me. But the point that I knew this shit is getting out of control was when I had people who, you know, this guy was a whatever, man. He was a bar back at a restaurant. He's like, hey, Pat, this is what you got to do. You got to buy this. You got to do this. And I'm going, the hell is this guy telling me? Like, what do you know, man? But the reason he was an expert all of a sudden is because he threw his money in something and it skyrocketed up. So everybody started getting these huge egos. So one guy, I remember he was telling me, he's like, oh, yeah, I'm buying XYZ coin. Yeah, or whatever. And he goes, I just bought it at 5 cents. He goes, I'll sell it at 30. And I'm like, well, it's just like that, right? Just gonna buy it at 5 cents and sell for a 600% gain, just like that. That's when I realized, like, this is getting a little too over the top. And then I had, you know, Sally, who does hair and makeup, who's now doing YouTube videos, and I'm like, oh man, like, this is insane. But now it's like things have been flipped, so that's why I'm starting to get bullish again.
Yeah. I'm surprised actually you're not on YouTube. I mean, I haven't got much of a presence at all. I'm just trying to get back into it, talk to the people I'm interested in. But I'm surprised you're not on YouTube yourself.
I really should be. I made a couple videos. I made 2 videos, and like I'm. It sounds so bad. I'm 38 years old. You know, I'm older for crypto, I guess. A lot of the guys are in the 20s, whatever. But I am technologically impaired with so many things. So just setting up that program that allows you to see your screen and then have your face at the bottom of the screen.
That's me too.
And I'm trying to do it, and then it wouldn't.
It's embarrassing.
So even this interview with Zoom,
the window thing. I bet you it's like a 5-minute tutorial.
It probably is, but I literally have been researching it, and I'm trying to figure it out, downloading the program.
We'll figure out how to do it. If I find out how to do it, I'll tell you. And if you figure out how to do it, you tell me. If anybody
else knows how to do it and you see this interview, help me out, because I'll start making more videos. And, you know, I love doing it. Obviously, I could talk a lot.
Paddy, because I'll tell you what, you've got passion, and you're actually a fun guy to watch. And you've got bags of personality. And you know, you got a good vibe, and I think, you know, and you're resilient, you're robust, because like this fucking you've been through these hellish last 2 years.
Hey, as they say, you got to roll with the punches, you know.
That's it.
It's the only way to survive.
I would
gotta
hope
adapt.
that I'll see you at some point in the future with your own YouTube channel, and really, yeah, just keep on moving on up. I have a lot of time for you. I think a lot of other people have a lot of time for you, and I really wish you the best, and not just success in the stocks, in your personal life. I wish you success all round, you know, because I think you're one of those guys. Um, everyone's whenever your videos come up, I will stop and watch them.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Okay, so just to
Yeah.
finish, can you tell us what the current state of the market right now? Tell us what projects you're looking at, and yeah, just give us an overall kind of summary of where Paddy is now in the market.
Okay. I kind of base my sentiment on what's happening with the halving, because if you look at the previous two halvings, about 6 months after 6 to 12 months following, previous all-time highs are usually broken. So I'm anticipating that same thing to happen. I also kind of correlate that to the stock to flow chart that Plan B posts all the time. And so if you kind of put those two together, it looks like the next 6 months and beyond is when the market should really start picking up. And again, market sentiment on Twitter seems to be picking up because, excuse me, instead of falling through support like we've seen so many times, Bitcoin is kind of maintaining its support and staying up, even in this ridiculous financial crisis that we're in with the coronavirus. It's not necessarily, you know, going crazy higher, which I wouldn't anticipate because of the situation with the timing of the halving, but it's not getting destroyed either. So it's good to see that people's sentiment toward the market is improving. And like I say, the fact that for 2 years Ethereum was dropping, and then for almost a year traded sideways, and now it's starting to finally make that move higher. I'm getting like the butterflies again,
Spider
because
sense.
yeah,
Spidey
like
sense.
it's go time. Like I feel it's coming now. While I think, you know, Ethereum, the larger altcoins will start making their moves, the smaller altcoins, I think it's going to be a little while yet. I would still say now's the time to begin accumulating them. For, you know, perfect example, Hive Terminal. I don't want to go on for too long, but Hive Terminal is up about 400% since, I believe, around January. And it's just kind of slowly creeping higher. And I don't expect that to subside. I think it's just going to keep going higher. So if you got in January compared to now, each 100% the price moves up. You know, instead of, if you're buying in at, you know, whatever, 4 Satoshi and it goes to 8, you make 100%. But if you got in at 1 and then it goes to 8, you're up a lot higher, 700% gains on top of that. So it's kind of like an exponential growth thing. So I'm again, every month I'm putting more of my commission check into crypto, because I feel that bottom is in, and I feel that the beginning of the climb is going to start happening now with large altcoins, Bitcoin, small altcoins. Again, small altcoins, maybe some time yet, because a lot of the exchanges that they used to trade on are either no longer around, or they've implemented KYC, which is one thing that people don't want to do. So I get it. So you've got exchanges that only have select coins. So those little small cap coins, they're going to be some time yet, because they will have to get listed on bigger exchanges, or, you know, new exchanges will have to come out, and then they'll be more accessible. So I always say it's important to get in before they're accessible to the rest of the world, because once, you know, it gets listed on Binance or a larger exchange, it's easy for people to buy, so the price will go up. So if you got in before they got in, then it gets listed on Binance. All of a sudden you've got thousands and thousands. Yeah. New people have the ability to get in. So you're sitting there going, oh man, I'm already in. Now we're listed Binance. Now we're on Binance. And so, you know, before it was on, you know, XYZ exchange, and they trade $50,000 in total volume on the exchange per day. That's not doing anything for you. But then, you know, you've got an exchange that trades billions. All these people could throw their money into that crypto, and then it really takes off.
Because one of the projects you that is close to your heart is Telcoin. Now, Telcoin I don't know what you can pick it up for at the moment. What's the price? The current price?
It's about 0.3 of a penny in fiat. I'm sorry, it's less than that. It's just under 2. It's like 1.75 Satoshi. My first buy was at 66, and it was a while ago. But over the period of 2.5 years, I've continued to drop my dollar cost average because I believe in this company. I believe in the project. I believe what they're doing. And the fact that if this goes as planned, it could literally change the way that the world works when it comes to sending money from country to country. It's easier, it's cheaper, and more people are able to do it. So if it gets a hold and becomes adopted, like, who knows? It could be. It's hard
if it
to
gets
say.
put on Binance, basically.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, I wanted to list on all the big exchanges, but I feel that the bleeding is over. I feel that they just announced the beta is going to happen this month.
Yeah.
So if that goes well, they'll go live. So for the last almost 3 years, I use this expression. They were building the foundation. They were building the infrastructure. Now the infrastructure is built. Now it's time to build this 50,000 square foot mansion. And
fair dues to you. You have stuck at it. You have stuck at it, and all the haters, all the hard times, you have stuck with this project.
So many people hate me so much because I love to say my true opinion with things. There's a lot of people that they don't want to ask questions because they don't want to get the answer, or I'm not going to say anything about the team or anything like that, but it's difficult to get a straight answer because they see themselves as a private entity. So they don't have to give us the information that we're looking for, because it's like saying, hey man, we're a private business. We can do whatever we want. But the fact that it's on a blockchain and you can see where the transactions occur, there's a lot of questions that I had over the last few months that I just had a hard time getting answers to. And it's like, come on, help me out. Give me an answer for this. But can't get the answer. But at this point, I don't care, because I believe that they're doing what they say they're doing, and there's nothing that's proven to me otherwise. You could validate all of the partnerships that they've got in place. Everything checks out. That's what I'm going off of. So I'm just waiting for them to flip that switch, and then we could actually start sending money. And if it works, man, I don't know. I mean, I just think Tron went, or better yet, Verge made like a 2000x return. I mean, that was back in the time where
it made millionaires. It made millionaires with tiny investments.
Unbelievable. Yeah, there's so many. I mean, like Railblocks, Nano, that went from fractions of a penny to like $40.
Even if you got in a Litecoin when it was like $3, and that wasn't even. Do you know what I mean?
But that's I consider that one as one of the trading pairs. So that's a larger crypto. So what I always say is, hey, say you invest in a smaller project like Telcoin or Centivate or one of these ones that I like, and they go up 10x. And at that same time, Bitcoin also goes up 10x. You're not just making 10x gains, you're making compounded gains, because when your little crypto went from 1 cent to 10 cents, and then the price of Ethereum went from 100 to 1,000, when you're converting that back into Ethereum, you're making another 10x on the price of Ethereum going up. So it's like insane. So when the market starts moving up and things are pumping, it is ridiculous how fast your actual account could go up. But on the contrary, when shit goes bad and your altcoins are dumping and the big Bitcoin and the trading pairs are dumping, then it's like you're kicking the bees.
Of course. I mean, that's why you've actually done a smart move in some ways, is just to keep on averaging in. There is a risk with these smaller cap coins, but not with the projects that you picked. I think Centivate, from what I see, they're a serious company. It's just that they're not on these bigger exchanges at the moment.
It's killing me.
Yeah.
They're on 2 little exchanges. I can't trade any of them. So, I was saying the other day, I don't want to get into it, but I get these beefs with people, and they have this idea of what I want to do, but they're completely wrong. I'm saying, if people want to buy Centivate, how are they going to do it? They got to get it off an exchange. So if you can't get it off an exchange, how are you going to get in? So I was, saying, what's going on? When are we going to get listed on these exchanges? And I have people that are not tied in with the project, but are, investors such as myself. And they're going, why do you want to list on an exchange? What is the purpose? And I'm going, it's like saying, like, I want to have a Ferrari, but, it's like, but you can't put tires on it. So what good's a Ferrari if you can't put tires on it? You can't drive it. So if I want to invest in Centivate, I got to get it from an exchange. And if I can't get it from an exchange, What are you going to do? So people seem to think that I wanted to get listed on a bigger exchange so I could sell. That's not the case. I've been in since February of 2019. I haven't sold anything. I'm accumulating. My position has grown since then. Same thing with, Hive Terminal. Same thing with Tel and a bunch of other projects as well.
Well, Paddy, I hope it all goes to plan. You are definitely a boon to the industry in so many ways. Keep it up. I hope you get your YouTube channel. I hope you start boosting that. You're going to look like an absolute don if it all does explode again. And
I got to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm so pleased you have spoken to me today, and I hope it happens again. In the meantime, I just wish you the best of luck, and yeah, thanks for coming on.
Awesome. I'm glad you had me. Thank you so much. I had a blast.
Cheers, Paddy.
Go crypto.